It's good to be back. Good to be back.
So good to be back. Good to be back at the Zoomcast.
Yes, it is that podcast bringing you news and discussion on all things film and pop culture with all the right amount of ignorance.
Just the right amount. Just the right.
You know,
It's like a pinch of stupid, you know?
a pinch.
Just a pinch.
Don't want to be too dumb
Yeah.
because that's just ignorant.
We
Too
can go
ignorant.
across the street, like we just, don't ask anything else past that.
No, there's no small talk. We're not doing too much.
Mm-hmm.
No. If it's too much, it's too salty, causes heart attack.
No, exactly that. Or I guess in our case, it would just be like mental collapse.
Yes, you'll be stuck in a wheelchair. You lose brain cells. No, we're just the right amount. I wanted to kind of start off this podcast this week and kind of showing how dumb I am, really.
Yeah, you got some stories. Yeah.
Yeah, so recently I went on a date, 2 dates actually. I went on some dates.
Same person? Okay.
I don't know if that's something to be braggadocious about, but what I had a good time for what it was for, but what the thing I want to be forward about and address that makes the story funnier, and you might be asking yourself probably how does it make it funnier coming out and saying this, but I'm not gonna be shy from what I am and what I stand for now. I'm a Christian. I believe in God. I've been putting myself more forward about these things lately, and it has changed my dating scene, honestly. And how can it not change your dating scene, honestly? Because we're in a world where now everybody agrees with you on certain things, especially those types of things that are kind of countercultural, right? So,
yeah, of course.
Basically, the second date is going, fine. It's a movie date, but you can't help but have this feeling that things are just a little off.
Right.
Like something's just kind of weird about this. And I was going in there, trying to be positive attitude, good old positive Vernon. So
TV.
She's a pretty woman, nothing weird there. It's just, I'm a little weird myself. So we're enjoying the movie. We went to go see that Mean Girls movie, that Mean Girls musical.
How was that?
That Mean Girls musical was pretty darn good. It's a lot of blonde women in the audience.
All right.
In the movie. A lot of hell yeah.
Everybody saying crowd they have for Barbie, right?
Dude, but the chick that plays Regina George, that the new chick, I guess, she's got that thing. She's kind of good. It's a thing. She's kind of solid. I ain't gonna hold you up, but I'm not really into blonde women. No offense. But
check it out.
Yeah, but a lot of people didn't know it was a musical, which is kind of funny. So went to go see that with my date, and things are going relatively smooth. And in a date, especially a movie date, you do that goofy stuff where the girl tries to
you reach over,
or the girl tries to reach down to are you gonna put your hand behind her back and stuff? And I was just like, I'm
holding the popcorn and all that.
I'm not a touchy guy, I've never been a touchy-feely guy, never, really, have never, ever been, honestly. Right. I mean, how many times can you say that I've given people hugs, straight up?
Yeah, no, and I usually have to fucking drag them out of you. So.
Yeah, I have to, that's before, that's always been a me thing. I've never changed.
Touch me.
That's always been a me thing. So, I'm not a person that escalates physical touch. I'm not a person that does that. That's just not a me thing. That's naturally been a me thing. I don't think she knew that because it's the second date. How would you know?
Right.
But this girl proceeds to put her head on my shoulder, and I'm so sorry. I feel really bad about saying this, and this kind of gets into our topic today. But I couldn't help but feel like an ick. You ever heard this phenomenon called the ick?
I'm not too familiar with it.
The ick is what women describe as a feeling that you can't really put your finger on. It's just something that someone does and you are permanently unattracted to this person, period. There's nothing you can do to fix it. It's like a dumb alarm bell. It's like almost as if the best example I have is that, you see someone just take a massive barf on a plate of and something like that,
Right.
And then they go to take the same plate and they go and they wash it off and they give it back to you. It's clean, sanitary, but you just saw someone barf on it. I don't think you want to eat on it anymore.
No, I feel you. It's like when you're doing freaky shit with your girl and then she wants to like put like the He-Man action figures in her ass, and it's like you take them out and you wash it. You still might play with it sometimes, but he's doing more than Garden Grayskull now.
Yeah, no, I don't think I want to play with those again either. That's kind of
You know, like your action shiggers, like your action shitters.
I don't think I want to play with them either. I don't.
See, that's what they don't talk about. It's always, oh, get a Hot Wheels car and race it off my ass. It's never put it in my ass.
No, that's
level 7. Y'all know about that one yet. That's Rainbow Road.
I don't want doo-doo dolls, bro. I'm good. Like,
hey, look, man. Mario has Rainbow Road. When you kick with your lady, you get the brown strip.
Why would you want to? But that's my point. Why would you want to go back after that? You just can't explain it. But in this case, you know, women put words to things that men don't understand, and for some reason after the date, I just couldn't really understand it. I was looking on forums, like trying, you just look at forums to see, like, am I the only one that feels this way? Is this me? Like. And then, like, you have all these like blogs like Cosmetology or Politan, I think it is Cosmopolitan,
Neapolitan, yeah,
something like that. What ice cream, something, right. I don't know.
Waffle cones.
So they have these things they call, oh, it's the ick. A guy just does something weird and you're just like turned off. Not many guys talking about this, honestly.
See, the only thing with that confuses me is you got the ick feeling after she laid her head on your shoulder. I mean, because she'd been tired, yes. But at the same time, if she was that repulsed by you, if you're really that, pre-owned barf plate like you say you were, I don't think she would have done all that.
Yeah, like, because it was a me thing. I'm just like, I just couldn't. But there's no logical explanation behind the feeling. Mm-hmm. And the movie, I let her do it. I'm like, this is fine. This is good. This is okay. Yeah. I guess it's fine. And we proceed to go out of the movie theater and we proceed to go into her car. She invites me in. Everything's going great. I'm talking. And bro, and I'm looking at you right now talking. I know these guys can't see it, but eye contact and everything is going great. And you're talking about things. I'm like, hey, I feel like I'm a little kid when I'm talking. I don't know how to explain this. It's like the best way visually speaking. It feels like you are this innocent person, I guess, in a way. My legs are just dangling. I'm talking about my day. I'm like, I'm just so excited. I'm just being in my chair. I think a kid's the wrong interpretation to say because that would get kind of weird. I'm not trying to be weird about it, but it's like you're just sitting around. You're just innocent. Your legs are dangling. You're like, I'm just talking about my job and everything. Like, doing it for God and blah, blah, blah. And she's like putting on her lipstick, like getting ready, bro. I was like, oh no. I felt so uncomfortable and so weird. Like I felt so... But it's not her fault. I mean this in the most respectful way. It just felt like a gut feeling of, oh, this is just not gonna work for me. I don't know. Like I just can't help but have a feeling like I just do not. No touchy. I can't do touch. I can't do this right now. I just cannot. I don't know what it is. I never had an experience like that where I felt like a weirdness of touching. That was weird.
Maybe you're just not used to the people you date being so forward.
It felt so weird to have a woman be so like, into a dude named Vernon. That's so weird. I don't have like a sexy name. I guess like an Ike or like a Darren. But like,
okay, well, for all of our listeners at home, simply because you can't see, Vernon is a very attractive, over 6 foot man.
Thank you.
A solid,
not 6 figures though, not quite yet.
Hey. We got the feet. The figures will come. and how much you weighing, Vern? How much you weighing?
I'm 400. I'm kidding. 450 pounds of pure love.
Pure love and admiration. Damn handsome man over here.
But with that being said, that kind of brings me kind of full fold about dating. We're so close to Valentine's Day And, I've been really comfortable being single. I got out of a long term relationship.
You did.
I'm not going to go too much into that, but, I get that you were talking earlier about maybe I was a little uncomfortable about, you know, being around a girl uh, that was actually serious about talking and
Right.
being forward about that. But in my world, you skip like 19 different steps. Like I was like,
Mhm.
wow, we didn't even get the eye contact for too long. We just went straight into it. It's like your dude just puts his schlong on the table and says, "Let's go."
Just
I
slaps the
felt
beat and say,
like
yo, what we
in
doing with this? Like,
in that moment, I felt like chicks, and when they're trying to like, what about me? I thought you liked me, and he's like, yeah, yeah,
mhm.
yeah, 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 yeah. But come on. I felt like that in that moment,
She was trying to take your cheeks, man. Like,
Yeah. So needless to say, that just didn't work out for me. I had to like do a little soul searching,
mhm.
like but that was a weird experience for me. Honestly, I never had that, but I awkwardly left the car. I didn't leave in that moment. I just kind of kept talking. I
Mhm.
kind of knew what was happening, but I just kept like backing up. I
Yeah.
don't know. Like I just kept.
Well, do you want? Are you and this girl going on a third time?
Oh no, no! I called it off, man. I couldn't do it. I really couldn't do it, man.
Mm.
I it was one of those things where I had to come to terms with that gut feeling, the ick I had. It's kind of, you can't really do it. And I think this relates today once again that you will choose. For instance, you can have an instance where you have a person who is so attractive to you. You can be attracted to someone, but you could be attracted to somebody,
No,
right?
literally. Yeah.
There's a difference between the two. There's girls that are attractive and they're not ugly, but there's some girls who you're just like down for. Like, oh my gosh, she's like
Right.
a 10 out of 10, like a 20 out of 10. Oh, I'm so in love. Oh man, this is gonna be so great. And you get in there and she could say, "Oh, I sacrificed chickens to Satan." And you just be like, "You know what? We'll work on it."
Yeah, we'll work on it. Look, my God is a forgiving one. Like,
Yes, it's all good. We can work that out. And you got some girls who are like, you're feeling them a little bit, and they say, man, I don't like Star Wars. You're like, I'm good.
oh yeah, at that point you're out.
Out. You know? So I feel like it was one of those instances for me where it's like, what, maybe it's just, I got some work to do and I hear it, but I maybe I just wasn't so into it as I thought I was, but that kind of relates me to our topic today a bit. We are discussing a film that to me helped me, or really I've seen it more recently now. It kind of helped kind of visualize the mistakes I've made in the past
Mhm.
and some of the mistakes that a lot of average men do. Not all of us are washboard abbed freaking millionaires who pull 19 million women, and you can barely count them with your hands. Some of us are just getting by day to day. You get a girl, you have a good time, and they break your heart, and that's what happens, and that's just the round that you have to go through. But the film that we are discussing today is 500 Days of Summer.
500 Days of Summer.
Um, I feel like this film is it's so cringe inducing to
Mhm.
me. It's too real.
No, I see what you're saying. It's one of those movies for anyone who hasn't seen it. It stars Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Zoe Deschanel. This is back in 2009. And practically the movie follows Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character, Tom. Tom has always believed in love and the one. And summer, the topic of this movie, couldn't be any different. So I feel what you're saying because the more you watch this movie, the more it goes on. It's like I said to you when you first came in. It's a spot that I feel like everyone, if not most people, have been in. We've all been in spots where, we had the rosy colored glasses on. We saw the potential for love in a partner and pretty much like as the movie follows to your own detriment to the point where you kind of stop seeing other things. So I feel like that was really it's really the crux of the movie, but I feel like that's really the thing that is a good jumping off point and that everyone can relate to. You know, we've all been in love before, and like you were saying, a lot of us haven't done it right. So I think
No,
this movie is a really good example of pretty much. I would like to call it the human experience. You know?
I gotta ask.
Yeah.
So, and I think this movie kind of discussed this too. And I really do highly suggest that everyone watches this film. Definitely watch the film. But we're breaking down bits and pieces of this. But I do think that this man poses an interesting question. The movie starts off with this big montage of his
Mm-hmm.
kids, and it starts off with them talking about this narrator. It's kind of like a tongue-in-cheek narrator. I like the
Yeah,
idea.
yeah, yeah.
And it kind of goes over like what they were feeling as kids, because I feel like a lot of the mentality that you have about love stems from your childhood thoughts of those types of things, those attachments. Attachment theory when it comes to having certain attachments to your love life.
Especially with your parents as well, because that's what we see with Summer's character. We don't really know too much about Tom's parents, but he's always had the idea of love in his head. But Summer, her parents divorced at a very young age, and the narrator even makes a point to say that she only loved her long dark hair and the feeling of nothing when she cut it. So I feel like even in the very beginning of the movie, it shows just how juxtaposed these two characters are. You know?
It couldn't be any more different.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts with that whole fakeness of maybe they get to work out. The movie frames it as they're getting married in the beginning here, but they're just you're saying they're very different types of people. And Tom is such an idealist, and
Yes.
I'm gonna relate this back and take a quick pause here. I am the same on the first date I went with this woman. I went because also this movie goes back and forth in time, so bear with me. It's all connected. She asked me, "Do you believe in happy endings?"
Like the massage parlor or in life?
She asked me, like, in life, do you believe in happy endings? And for some reason, I had a hard time answering that and searching myself and being like, I don't know if I really necessarily define what you mean by a happy ending necessarily. Like, define exactly what expectations that you have about this. And I feel like Tom, this character, has this sort of idealistic viewpoint of what love truly is and how he goes about his relations. And he's always like, oh, I believe in fate and it brought
Mhm.
us together and these types of things, but it leads to like really bad expectations. I feel like the main villain of this movie is the expectation.
Yes, it's a expectation along with, I want to say, Tom's ego in and of itself, because as the movie progresses, Tom and Summer, they both work in an office. Eventually, there's an office party, and his friend gets really drunk and lets Summer know that Tom is into her. From which she makes it very clear that she's not pursuing a relationship. She doesn't want to be with anyone, and she just wants to have fun and enjoy her younger years. But because Tom is so into her, and he's been into her for a while now, because by the time they go on this date, I want to say about a couple weeks have passed, and he was just smitten by her ever since. He's so into this girl that he can't even hear her say that she doesn't want to pursue a relationship.
And
So,
that's what I mean. And that's what I was
mhm.
trying to talk about earlier, is that you can find a person and love so much about their outer appearance. And you were talking about, I think in this movie too, there's a scene where he talks about how I love her skin, I love the way she looks. And
Mhm.
people have been so smitten with someone to the point where you just miss the most important details about what they stood for. She told this man, Summer, told him exactly what she was about. You
Mhm.
just said it. She wants to enjoy her youth and enjoy this time. But I mean, he might as well. You can see it in the camera in the film there when it cuts to his face in the scene. It might as well look like she's saying "wow wow 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 wow
Mhm.
wow wow wow." Like
All he saw was pretty girls talking, like
pretty girl talking to me. I'm gonna have a chance.
exactly that, talking to me.
I'm good. But yeah, that is what I'm talking about. It's so frustrating. And I feel like a lot of people have fallen victim to this. I've fallen victim to this. I will admit it. I've been smitten with a girl so much that I've oversaw the truth about what she stood for.
Oh, who hasn't?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is what makes this movie so relatable to me and so cringe inducing because I think people are supposed to cringe when you make a mistake before, like you go, oh, I should have saw that, or oh, but
Mhm.
it shows growth, right?
Absolutely.
But this movie, I mean, this movie is going to be stagnant. It's going to be the same hour and a half. But it is cringe to see that because I see myself in that type of situation. And you're just so into this girl, but she warned you. It's like it was so avoidable. And I mean, I think another thing, Clem Retz is in this movie as well.
Yes.
This is like one of her first, I think, major roles. I want to say.
Mhm.
I think this is around the time of Kick Ass, maybe.
Yeah, she looks like she's around the same age.
Yeah, because she's like the same age as us. I'm 26 right now. I'll be 27 this year, so I think she's like around the same age as us. I think she's even born like on the same month as me. Actually, I remember.
Oh well, yep, she's 26. Yep.
Yeah. So
Very
I know
good.
that she was around the same, and she has like wise words for a kid her age. Oh my gosh!
I feel like it's kind of hard not to when you have such a fucking wet towel of an older brother. Like,
Honestly,
it's
it
crazy.
frustrates me. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
because even I know we're jumping around, but even getting back to the movie, like the first time you see her character, she comes over to his apartment and his friends are there, and he's just standing there, blank face, just breaking plates, like just staring into the ether, just fucking breaking plates in the cabinet. So no, it's crazy because I feel like her character also shows that because you look at her and she's a kid and you would think, okay, how can this kid give good relationship advice? I feel like the movie also shows too that really when you're so enveloped in someone and you're so caught up in the feeling of love, you need those other people around you to really tell you how fucking crazy you sound. Because that's a really big theme of this movie. Whether he's into her or he's going through his bouts where he hates her and his friends are there trying their hardest to bring her back to reality. It's not just Zoe Deschanel's character who's telling him what it is. His friends are too. And he's so enveloped in his own feelings. He's pretty much blocking out the entire world. He's just fixated on his own idea of happiness and what that means to the point where honestly, he doesn't even really care too much about how Zoe Deschanel's character feels. It's about how he can be happy and how things can benefit him. And I feel like that's also the trap of happiness and trying to find it in others, because since he doesn't have it within himself, he puts so much of himself onto Zoe Deschanel's character to where at certain points in the movie, you kind of can't blame her for wanting to distance herself.
No, not at all. And I don't think she's necessarily a villain. I think I want to hold that thought for a second there because I
Mhm.
feel like there's some interesting thoughts there about her actions in the movie. That I think we talked about that earlier.
Mhm.
Clem Ritz says something interesting. Her character says, just because you guys share like the same stupid, freaking
Mhm.
interests, it doesn't mean anything. She likes the Smiths. I like the Smiths too. Who cares?
Yeah.
I like all this dumb surface level crap, but what about the deeper values? What about these deeper things? And I feel like, especially back in the day, I would love to find a girl who likes video games
Mhm.
and anime, and it will work out because we
Yeah.
like video games and anime. But what about like other deeper things that you're gonna value? You can have stupid surface level stuff, but there's got to be something more here. And every time, and I think you're right, Tom just misses the mark. He misses what was needed for Summer, what she was looking for, and what she wanted these things to be. And he wanted something more to push out of a person that wasn't ready to do that for him.
Mhm.
And you were right about talking about how he is just putting his happiness on someone to make it work and putting his worldview and forcing it in and sticking to something that is childish in some ways.
Very childish. Yes.
Here's another good question, Ron.
Yeah.
Have you ever been on an IKEA date before?
An IKEA date.
Yeah.
See, no, I haven't. But that like little montage in the movie really made me think like, wow, that's a really cool thing to do. But no, I've never been on an IKEA date.
Okay. I've done it. And it's kind of ironic, and I'm sorry, I may have some hot takes about certain things because I'm me. I guess I'm like a bitter old man. I don't know.
Burning hot takes.
But but I think the IKEA date is adorable, and this is in this movie. They go on this IKEA date, but I couldn't help but reveal something interesting. It IKEA looks cool, it's set up, but it's fake.
Mm.
Don't you? The entire relationship that Zoe Deschanel, Summer, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character go through,
Mhm.
and as Tom, they are trying to build something that doesn't work or exist. IKEA is like the best visual representation of having a date like this and playing house. You're literally just playing house. You don't
No,
have a
literally, yeah.
house.
They're trying to build a castle on a foundation of sand.
Exactly.
And one thing that I really liked as they were walking out of IKEA, the sign said IKEA Stockholm. And it kind of put me in the mindset, Stockholm syndrome, where is he just putting all of his eggs into this just because this is something that makes him feel good and it's just a placebo? Because I don't know. When I saw that, I kind of thought about that for both characters. Because it's the Stockholm syndrome. Is she kind of just forcing feelings that she doesn't really have because, he's happy? Or, like we were saying, is he to continue to live in his own diluted reality just because he's happy? So I feel like even like with that Stockholm line as they were exiting the store, I think that even drives home how fake everything is.
Yes.
Because it's more a matter of closeness just due to proximity, not actual feelings. Like you spend so much time together. That's another thing in this movie. Once the relationship does start, she again reiterates, "Hey, I'm only here for fun, just to enjoy this." But they spend so much time together that Tom can't even begin to tell the difference, and even she herself gets confused. And I think now's probably a good time to go into it because as much heat as we're giving Tom, Zoe Deschanel's character also fucks up during this movie.
No, for sure. There's a lot of instances, and I'm the type of person, I'm the same way in some ways. I was talking to a good buddy of mine earlier today, and I mentioned this to him, and I'm being more comfortable in my skin to say, like, I'm just an all in type of person. Like, I'm either 0 or 100. And Summer's character is not an all in type on him. She's not really all in. She's like maybe 50%, 60% in. And this whole idea of a relationship, she screws up certain things. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character is like 100% in. He's either all in or all out. Even in the beginning, he's like, "Oh, screw it." She said, "Oh, it's a good thing," or was it? "Oh, her I think her weekend was good." He seems like he's on good. Like, "Oh, forget, I'll walk away from this whole thing."
That meant she was having sex with some other guy. And that's why her weekend was so good.
Yeah, like he's an all in or all out type of guy. When he gets in, I remember looking at him in the movie, he was looking at the mirror and saying, "Okay, there's a girl on my bed. All right, cool. All right, I gotta not be serious about it. It's all good. It's just a thing. It's okay. It's fine." And it's like he can't help but when he gets out this whole musical montage of him just like in with. I think I laughed really hard audibly when he looked himself in the mirror. He saw Han Solo.
He looked at Han Solo. I couldn't help but cackle at that. Like, I love you. I know. But I disagree because I feel like they were both all in characters. They were just all in on different aspects. She was all in on the fun, and he was all in on the relationship. And I feel like that's why they ultimately couldn't work.
And that's what I mean. He's all in on this whole thing, and she, I believe, at some point just to circle back around to what you were saying about her messing up. I do believe that she inevitably she knows that how he truly feels, and yet she still persists on trying to stretch this thing out more than it needs. And I feel that is her mistake. I feel like she was very forward in the beginning about what she wanted this whole thing to be, and he put himself in a false sense of wanting for this whole thing, and she's squeezing more of the relationship out. You see that in the later stages of this movie. That I think you mentioned it earlier. She went out in the rain and to go back to him, to start this whole thing up, and to even like before they around near the end of the movie. They go to a wedding for a mutual friend, and she dances with him and a bunch of other things, knowing full damn well that she was engaged and she had sex with this guy and this whole different.
She wasn't engaged yet. She said that he hadn't asked her yet, so she was full well in another relationship, knowing that Joseph Gordon-Levitt was still
okay. My fault, misremembered, like this guy.
Still foul. Like
so, but that's just it. He's mistook this whole thing. And I have this other thing that I wrote down too, is that he misinterprets the entirety of the relationship entirely. Yes. Like when he goes back in and he has like that one chick he goes on a date with and he's like venting to her about the whole thing. It's like, wait a second, did she tell you about what this whole thing was? He goes, well, yeah, she told me that. Then she didn't do anything wrong. It's you. You're the problem's you, man.
Yeah.
You did this.
See, and I really like how the movie kind of has that dichotomy because, like you said, they make it very clear that it's on him. But like we were talking about before, because to give that scene a bit more dressing, in so many words, they were out at the bar, just as what they were, just sleeping together or whatever. And a guy approached Zoe Deschanel. He wanted to buy her a drink. He wanted to sleep with her. She wasn't with it. One thing leads to another, and he punches the guy, and the guy punches him back. He gets knocked out. They're walking back to her place. and he's saying, "Oh, I got my ass kicked for you." Da 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 da. She's kicking him out, and in that very moment, she again reiterates, "We're just friends." And when he leaves in a huff, she literally follows him in the rain to try to reestablish the relationship. And like you were saying earlier, after they fall apart again, they dance. And to me, the most egregious thing she did is when she invited him to her engagement party without telling him that it was an engagement party. So he came there, he brought her a gift, and he had to see the ring and the guy that she was with. And it's so messed up because you see the movie, and of course you want to root for Tom because you're like, oh, how could she do that? She knows how she felt about him, and da, 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 da. But at the same time, it's like a good thing. She made it very clear that she never wanted these things with him. So I think it does a really good job of also showing just really how much of love and relationships is really just left up to, understanding and interpretation because of the fact that she never wanted to pursue these things, but then she pursued them with someone else. So it's one of those things where it's kind of hard to explain. It's like I was saying earlier, it just really speaks to the human experience because to kind of move towards the end of the movie, he eventually does. He gets back in his bag. He's back into architecture. He's back into doing the things that he likes to do, and he meets her at the park that they originally had their talk and everything happened. And it's like he said to her, he's like, I don't get it. You never wanted to be anybody's girlfriend, but now you're somebody's wife. And I think really what she said, as simple as it is, it really was the best explanation for everything. And it really kind of wraps up the entire movie.
Oh, yeah.
It just happened.
Yeah. And he was right about his theory about love existing.
Mm-hmm.
They had that first conversation when they first met about love. It truly does exist. And when you find it, you just know.
Mm-hmm.
And she knew it was the right person for her. She was wrong. I think she encapsulated as well here too of like, you were right about this thing. You were just wrong about me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's heartbreaking, man. When you realize that everything you wanted to have is it's not with this person that you built in your brain. It's not this reality that you made up. This is not what they wanted. Actually, this person is probably meant for someone else besides you. And you may be right about a certain ideology, but you're just wrong about the person that you're trying to build around. That's the sad part, man.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, I don't think there's a mistake either that he's like an architect. He's always building things, trying to put this whole thing in his head.
Wow, I never thought about that.
And he's already doing this stuff. And I think the Stockholm stuff we were talking about is literally her putting him in that situation of like, I'm with my captor. I'm falling in love with this person who puts me into this zone. And I don't really want to be in the zone anymore. And maybe I shouldn't be in the zone, but I'm putting myself back in. I'm in love with a person who I know is not good for me.
Right.
I'm not, you're not listening. I feel like the whole time when I'm watching this movie, I'm like, this guy's just not.
He's not
getting it
at all. And you make a great point about the architecture because I never thought about that. But now that you mention it, of course he built her up, but I really think at the crux of the movie, they really just built each other up into what I want to say was the best version of themselves. They just didn't exist for each other.
Yeah, they're not. These guys are not meant to be together for the end result. And I feel like I wanted your opinion on the ending, the rear ending of this film when he's going to get to the architecture job. And he goes in for this job interview and he meets this girl and, and the narrator's like, hey, maybe he's just going to realize that this is all what it is. And there's no such thing as, trying to make things with fate. And blah, blah, blah. And it's like interrupts and he looks back. He goes, oh, hey. And he talks to the girl again. He goes, oh, what's your name? Let's go out for drinks or whatever. Let's try it out. Her name is Autumn. I feel, and maybe you'll disagree or agree with me, I don't think that was to be like a tongue-in-cheek, like, oh, he found her. I think it's like he never really learned his lesson.
That's what I think as well. Because the narrator, even when he's backing up, the narrator goes, oh, well, maybe he hasn't fully learned it yet. So I honestly think, it's like you said, it seems hopeful, but I think that it's ultimately going to culminate in the same thing happening again. Because even with that scenario, well, honestly, I think maybe a bit hopeful. Because when he did ask to go out with her, she said she was going to meet someone. And I feel like the old Tom would have tried to weasel his way in or maybe try to talk and try to get something going. But he actually had a very adult moment where he just went, you know what? Oh, Okay, well, that's fine. And then she said, oh, well, you know what the hell? Let's go on the date. So I feel like it's honestly up in the air to me. It could all repeat again, but with him taking that step of backing up and letting things play out, maybe things could be different.
Such is life.
And I think that was my favorite part about the movie because even the narrator says it, and that's what wraps this whole thing up. He just says that Tom eventually realized all his ideas of destiny and fate, they didn't really exist. Everything is just a chance, a gamble. Nobody's promised to anyone. So I feel like, again, that's what really wraps up the whole meaning to me of being the human experience. Because for everything that him and Zoe Deschanel went through, all of it, even though they broke up, it's not like it didn't matter, you know? They still took those lessons and experiences and they took them to their future relationships. So I think that ultimately it just shows that everything is up to chance. There's no guarantee it's gonna work out with autumn. Hell, you might have to fuck around and fuck with winter. Who knows? Like,
Can you imagine listing off all the women you were involved with? Like I messed with summer, autumn, winter, spring, solstice,
leap year, like
leap year. But I feel like a lot of people. I have a hot take a little bit. It is my belief, and I think these are wise words, at least to me, that you should guard your heart with all diligence, and that your heart is deceitful. It is naturally deceitful. Because if it was correct every time, guys, you wouldn't have heartbreak.
You wouldn't need a brain.
Yeah, exactly. You wouldn't need a brain, and not everything that you long for is good for you. It's not. I mean, that's why you see a lot of people they love a dangerous person. They love a person that's just not good. They have unhealthy loops with these people. You have these types of things, and you put yourself in the same loop because I love them. I just love this person. I really feel like sometimes you need. I think this movie also addresses this to take a step back and go back. Remember everything. This movie, it's not a mistake. This movie keeps going forward and backwards in time, and its editing is hilarious. About how he goes in that elevator at that musical sequence, and it comes back in, he's like miserable. You know, I think that's funny that you see that you have to. I think Chloe Moretz, she's like goated in this movie. Some of her quotes are like, "Wow." Go back and remember it exactly how it is. Go back and remember every single memory with this person, and go back and really think about what this was.
And I love that line because my mom even told me something similar. Like, if I can shout out my mom's real quick. She always told me whenever I went through any kind of, breakup, she always said, like Chloe Moretz said, you don't want to remember the good times. You want to remember everything because you broke up for a reason.
The movie's framed in a way to elevate certain scenes and certain moments, but he goes back and remembers it exactly as it was, and he realizes like, oh, I wasn't really looking at what I need to see. It was obvious there for anyone who was looking for it, but you weren't really looking.
Yeah.
And that to me is what makes this movie, a standout as far as not being like a love story or trying to feed into the dumb crap of like, just try, and it works every time. Yeah. That's not the truth. That's not really realistic. That's not real. Not everything not every person that you fall in love with is going to work. Not everything that you want is good. It's not.
And that's what I love about this movie. It's not a love story. It's a real story.
Exactly. This is just it. I love that about this film. I love that it is this way and built off that way. And if I could do one more aside, I think this all kind of relates here too. And some of you guys are going to groan, but I think this is fascinating to me. I think everybody knows this guy, even outside of this. But are you familiar with Solomon?
Solomon? Oh, like from the Bible?
Yeah, he's also from the Bible, and he's also known in other mythologies as well as in other other myths and things about Solomon, like the genies and stuff too.
Oh, okay,
cool. Same Solomon.
Because I would say Solomon Grundy, so I'm glad.
Oh no, that. Born on Monday,
married on Tuesday. Getting hoes by Wednesday.
Hey, then this is also in topic because Solomon had a lot of hoes.
Oh wow.
He had a lot of concubines. Oh my gosh. But here's the thing that is fascinating, and it's about purpose, and it's about I think dating at large, especially for men. I can only speak for as a man because I'm a man. So sorry for like the 5 women that listen to the podcast.
We love you, though.
We love you. But with that being said, Solomon asked God to give him wisdom, give him lots of wisdom. And God said, you know what? I'm going to give you all that wisdom and I'm going to get you rich. You're going to have all of it, bro. I'm going to give you the whole thing because you asked for wisdom. So he gets all this wisdom and all this money. Nobody in the world, this is a factual basis. Solomon actually was a real dude. Everything he was given, he was the richest man ever. There's not going to be a man richer than Solomon or, since then or to ever will be. Trillionaire, millions and millions. Oh, so much money.
Right.
He couldn't even do it out of his ears. Hoes, lots of them.
The blooms falling.
But that's just it. I think the one thing that God told him was, hey, bro, just don't mess with these strange women, bro. Don't do it. And he meant by strange women, these women that are foreign. And I know this sounds weird to pull it back in. It's not like I'm not wasting anyone's time by mentioning this, but basically, when Tom was so focused, at least initially, on doing this architecture thing, so focused on getting this thing just right. And then when you have a woman who doesn't flow into the same things as you, or doesn't flow into the purpose that you are or that has been given to you, any man will fall. Solomon messed with all these strange women, and it turns out, at least in my basis here, he knew that his God existed, and he still went to worship other ones because the women told him, "Yo, these other ones are kind of dope." And he's like, "Man, I'm banging all these women. Oh man, I'm gonna go do this too." Isn't it kind of nuts to be the wisest man of history and to be the most like financially sound person to ever exist and still have a woman ruin your day? Isn't that fascinating? To me, that's hilariously fascinating and frustrating. He fascinates me in that way because you can be as wise as you want to be, strong as you want to be, financially sound, all this other stuff, but you can lose focus so quickly trying to attach yourself to something that is not good for you.
No, absolutely. And that's one of those things where I really like that story because that's really just one of the pitfalls of life. Really, of course, we're going to speak about being men, but I mean, man or woman, like you fall in with the wrong person, it really stands to ruin you because you can really make the analogy that had Tom stayed in that relationship and Zoe Deschanel just kind of swallowed it, he'd never be in architecture. His dreams would have died with that relationship. So I feel like that's why it's so poignant and so important to really, like the movie showed, hone in on yourself, zero in on yourself. If you're going through a breakup, if you're going through a tough time, that's when it's imperative to spend time with yourself. Because I feel like moments like that are what really show you what's important and who you really have. Because at the end of the day, the second piece of advice my dad gave me, don't count on anybody to have your back but you. So I really feel like, to your credit, with the Solomon story is, no matter how many things you have going for you, like I said, money, riches, wisdom, all of that, if you lack in the department of self-respect and self-love, you'll always lose, no matter how smart you are, how rich you are.
You need to have all of it together. You need to have self-control,
yes,
self-development. You will lose track. It doesn't matter how wise you are. That's why I mean, your heart is so deceitful that it will lead you down a path of absolute destruction with the wrong person. And the person can tell you exactly what they're about. I just want to have fun. I want to do all this stuff. And then you'd be like, man, I really want to get this thing done, but this girl's so cute. I'm going to go do this. And it's like, oh, and then you look up and you're somewhere you're not supposed to be, man. You're somewhere outside of the zone. But the one good thing about this movie, and I think you mentioned it too, is that the pain pushed him in the right direction, pushed him into the direction he was supposed to go. The pain of losing Summer pushed him into where he needed to go. And I feel that because when I went through my breakup, the pain of that breakup pushed me right back into the zone I need to be in, right? And I relate to that so deeply and intrinsically because it's something that I dealt with, I got pushed into the direction I was supposed to be in the whole time. I think we had a real conversation. You looked at me like, bro, like I wonder what happened to all this stuff, man. Like you were kind of like dropping off a bit on certain things. And I was like, you know what, dude? Truth is, you're right. I got so lost in this whole thing that I got lost the whole track about what the thing was I was supposed to be doing. You get your girl, she's pretty and she's great. You're having a good time and you just forget, man. It's so easy. And it's so sad, but even it humbles me to know even the wisest man in history and the richest man in history fell to the same problem that he lost track of the whole thing.
no,
And
absolutely.
That could happen to anyone. That happened to our main character here in this movie, in this film, that he lost his way. But it's good that he got back into the zone. But that's it. That's what I mean. Like the thing I wanted to stick on is just that, and
No, I agree. And that's what I love about our relationship, because I feel like that's also another credit to the movie. At the end of the day, his friends were always there for him. Come hell or high water, even when he quit his job, his one friend clapped and all that. So that's really what I love about us. Because like you were saying, with you, I noticed that, you kind of like lost your drive with certain things and it wasn't really going that way. But to your credit as well, when I had my previous relationships, the same thing happened with me. And I think that's really another thing that's so important, to kind of break the meta of the movie for a second. It's always important to keep people around you who really care about you, because as much as if you go through a breakup or whatever, you need to zero in on yourself, you really need your core network of people too. You need the people who were around you before you before you were in this relationship. Because those people really know you and really care about you. So on top of getting into your own, getting back into the things that you like to do and being, your own person, you also have to make time for people too. And that's another important thing, because usually when people go through breakups, like Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character, he just isolated. He would just wake up every morning, just drinking and eating Twinkies. So I think it really just shows.
Been there, man. That's the Twinkies part. Waking up, damn. ravioli gave me the death I deserve. Ravioli, man. I felt that.
Grab me the sweet. But no, man. And really, I just want to say I'm proud of you, man.
Man, thanks, man. It's good to have that type of focus back and to have my brain back and to be more comfortable with my skin, and just having that more comfortability, because just to relate the whole thing of this podcast together so far is just what my date and everything is, that I'm just naturally more picky about who gets in that zone, and I'm willing, and I feel like this movie played in my head even during my dates of like, wait a minute, did I hear what a person was truly telling me about what they stood for? And I'm not gonna try to change. No one has the power to change a person's mindset besides themselves when they're willing to change. So you could look at someone, and I think you need, when dating, I want to give advice here. I'm not here to give you advice on that. If anything, don't do anything that I did. Do the exact opposite of what I did. But if I could give any humbleness to give any type of thing based on my experience, is that you have to take a person at face value. This movie also teaches you the same thing of take everyone at their face value. Take them for what they say they are, and don't try to change it. Take it and accept it. No matter how cute she is, no matter what she brings to the table, no matter how, whatever, you need to accept it as it is. If you do not, it will be a waste of your time.
Yep.
There is not much time to waste here, friends. There's not much time at all. It's rough out here. Dating is rough in general. It's a rough thing. I've just now experienced some things, but I don't waste time. I don't try to do this thing, but I try to take it exactly as it is. But this movie is a really nice lesson in that, of how you can really get trapped in the mindset of trying to spare something that's not worth sparing. No, it just needs to be let go.
And if I could have one aside for myself, I think another thing that made this movie such a compelling love story was that Mark Webb was the director.
Oh,
he
yeah.
was the director of the Amazing Spider-Man movies.
He caught the trivia.
See, and it's funny to me because his last name was Webb, and those movies are ass. So it's like you really had one job. You would think the dude whose last name is Webb would have made the best Spider-Man movies.
Look. I think they had they thought they had money on it. Mr. Webb over here. I mean, it was all in there. It was
Webb with 2 B's. Billions. Marky, what happened?
That's like, getting a dude to make like a Spider-Man, or not a Spider-Man, but a Batman movie, and just his name is like, Andrew Bats or something like that.
Yeah.
With 2 S's.
Batman, like, what you mean? What you mean to tell me Stan Superman made a terrible Superman movie?
My name is Stan Soups. Here to make that Superman movie.
Stan S. Man.
You would think, but I did enjoy Amazing Spider-Man 2's dialogue when it came between Gwen Stacy and I feel like that type of, but I think that chemistry also was natural when it came to them being dating at the time.
Yeah, Andrew Garfield and
Emma Stone were totally dating.
Yeah,
Emma Stone's so freaking. Whew. I gotta think.
Lucky man, that Garfield.
Oh yeah, any man would be very lucky to have that woman.
Do you remember all the things like back when what was it? No Way Home came out, and they're like, oh man, him and Emma Stone are gonna get back together, and she's like, dude, I'm fucking married. Like,
that ship has sailed, dog. Like,
I think that plays into it too, of just ignoring the signs and only seeing what you want to see.
Yeah,
because people were shipping that for us all like half a year, and she's like, dude, I have a whole husband.
No, dude, it's over. That ship has sailed. I'm sure he's moved on too. Like, it's what it is. You can't be hung up on the strikes and the things you missed, right? Whatever.
Yeah.
It's just, hey, such is life. Move on. Get over it.
Sometimes you try to catch them and they still hit their head and die.
Yeah. Sometimes you
the
really
moral
gotta
of the story is
choose.
letting go, people. Like,
You really do. Some things are your fault and some things are not your fault.
even your little web hand, that was your fault too.
Yeah, that was your fault. But Mark Webb, great film. Really enjoy this one. I would like to share the dumb thing that I did for a girl when I was in elementary school. I feel like this is a fun little story.
Oh, we gotta hear it.
It was 5th grade camp. Oh, here we go. But 5th grade camp, I had this crush on this girl. You know what? It's kind of funny. I can't even remember what she looks like. Isn't that crazy? It's been such a long time, but it's 5th grade camp. But anyway, we're outside. There's a group of us. And they're riling up this horse, because we're out there looking at all the horses, and they're going, oh, these. At the time, high schoolers looked like they were adults, man.
They really did.
They were like cool looking. You're like, damn, I can't wait to be high school.
Harold Beck. Those niggas look really mature.
Yeah.
Yes. Super seniors.
Dude, those dudes looked so cool when I was a 5th grader. It's crazy. But they went up and they got these horses and they were like hitting them on the butt and they were like, get them all riled up and they say, hey guys, don't move past this fence. We're going to do something real cool, but you got to stay safe. Stay behind the fence. So my dumbass was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to impress this girl. Watch this. I did the exact opposite. I went over the fence and this horse is going crazy, like rolling around, like just doing whatever, like stuff. Ree. Whoa, Reggie. Like, move. No, bro. Like, this horse is going around, and my dumbass was just there. I'm just sitting around, like waving around, like trying to look like I'm cool, and this girl's laughing at me, basically. And I'm thinking, oh, I'm in the bag now. I'm totally in it. And this horse comes in, and dog, when I tell you this horse hit me like a Mustang, bro. Dog.
That was a good one.
Move, nigga.
Move out the way, nigga. This girl trying to break horses like he was playing Red Dead Redemption.
Bro, when I tell you this horse hit me so hard, I flipped like 15 times in the air.
Oh.
Bro, I landed right in horse poop too.
Oh, wow.
Bro, on my back. And that horse, I could have sworn I saw a light flash before my eyes. This horse was like raised up like a Civil War movement type of thing. like all this stuff in the air, bro. I thought I was gonna die. But the dude came up, it was an older guy, and he came in and stopped the horse. He goes, bro, are you okay? I'm like, oh no, man. I'm just like happy to be alive.
After spitting the horse shit out of your mouth.
Oh no. Did she like it? Oh no, that's kind of like that. See, but that's what I mean.
Yeah, but then you look back and she was talking to an old boy who had like 7 Bakugans.
Bro.
Like, oh, that Game Boy
color. Yu-Gi-Oh cards and all that stuff. I was broke, man. He had Legos. I had Matchbox, man.
But the nigga had Heelys too. When you were a kid and somebody had Heelys, you were like, damn, that is where the poverty line starts. Like, you knew at a young age how much your parents loved you.
Bro, the sad part is though, I could hold you. I had a pair of Heelys, dog. Like,
all right, that's where my poverty line started. Do you know what's crazy for me? I wanted Heelys so bad, and my dad, it was just like, no, I'm not getting you that. That's like a white boy shoe. And I'm like, don't you want me to be happy? Like,
dog, dude, it's kind of funny, dog. I hate this. This is like a foil right now. I swear to you, this is so weird. One of the only gifts my dad ever gave me were Heelys, nigga. He left after that.
He got you Heelys so he can show you how he zoomed out of your life.
That nigga told me to get on, bro.
Oh, man. And now, one day it'll be you.
Bro, like, I legit...
Oh, man.
That was the only gift my dad gave me before he zoomed out of my life, bro. I swear to you, it was my 10th birthday. I'll never forget that.
Oh, it's like that one kid in the Percy Jackson thing that was a child of Hermes, so all he got was some fucking shoes. Like...
Dog, I remember, I used to go to the mall all the time and just glide on those things. Those were, like, super fun. And I remember my cousin, she had a pair, too. And it's kind of funny. My cousin, she's, like, perpetually, like, 5'2". I think she stopped growing at the age of 8. But, I don't know. She's always had, like, a, nice feature, whatever. She took up like a baby faces. Doll. So she would glide around with her Heelys. And I remember there was a kid that asked him, what do you want for a toy? Billy? And he goes, I want that one. And then my cousin's like gliding around. They thought she was a freaking doll.
Oh, wow.
I thought she was a lifelike doll just gliding around. I'm like, dude, that's eerie.
Wow. I want that one. Give me the fucking Megan 3.0. Like.
But dude, like, no, that's funny, man. That's messed up. That's... Yeah, I've we've done some, or at least I'll speak for myself. I've done some simping in my past, bro. Pretty heavy.
Man.
But that's the one that almost killed me. No, I may have not been standing here today if the horse didn't have mercy on me. It was.
See, I feel bad because none of my simping stories are that funny. It's just I was just fucking with the wrong chick. I was looking stupid at the end of it. Like
I was holding back. Like,
I was like, oh, she loves me, and nigga was getting cheated on. So just like, damn, like, sometimes you're the hammer, other times you're the nail.
Yeah, that's how it goes, and you take it a day at a time, and you just put the lessons in, and you try your best, and that's the only thing you can really do is just try your best, and just don't simp, just don't do it. A lot of you people, I swear to you, I'm gonna have a little rant. I swear,
talk about it.
I hate it. These people are so thirsty around the time of Valentine's Day. You just get over yourself. Seriously, like I see things on my Instagram page, or not even necessarily the Instagram page itself, but on the Instagram reels of like people just saying, I just, me. I'm alone. I think it's like incel page. I think there's a lot of incel.
Oh God,
memes.
yeah.
The I am Ryan Gosling thing. I really like La La Land. I ain't gonna hold
just
you
like
up.
me for real. Yeah,
I really like La La Land, dude. I think La La Land is a great, and maybe one of these days you should review it because I think it's like a really good. I don't like happy endings. I think that's all gonna go back. I really just. Truth is, I don't think any of the media I consume has a happy ending. That's
really why Persona 3 is your favorite.
It's just not. It doesn't end well for people, and I'm okay with it not ending well for you. I think that is not. Why should you be guaranteed a good ending? Who made you the person to get a good ending? Who the hell do you think you are to deserve a good thing?
Who told you to have people believe that they can have love in this life? How dare you instill feelings of hope inside of niggas? Like,
who thought? Who made you think this is gonna end well for you? Who made you in charge? But that's kind of how I think it feels sometimes. But that's just it. These people, they get so stuck on Valentine's Day trying to have somebody. But you know what? Around the corner, there's an A train ready to take your girlfriend right out the game.
No, exactly that. Dudes will literally sit up like, oh, I hope she contacts me, bro. And she is in a room on Valentine's Day having the time of her life, getting split in half like an oyster.
Bro, and you have to get over it. Get over it. You know what? I think this is like if you don't get anything else, listener, stop texting them. Just stop. Give up. You know it in your gut. Just give it up.
It goes one of two ways. You either walk out or you're the dude holding the towel.
That's it.
Don't hold the towel.
Women too. Give up.
Yeah.
Give up.
Either you walk out or you're the chick that's cleaning his balls.
It's done. You're wasting your time. That's it.
Dirty balls don't deserve love, people.
They don't. They did nothing from you.
Right.
Reserve yourself.
Right.
Have some self-control.
Save yourself a man with some clean nuts.
But I'm very happy with this one. That was great.
But where can the people find us?
They can find us, and we're working on it. The first episode is now on Spotify. You can go ahead and check out that Aquaman review we just did. This episode will be up there as well. We're going to be on iTunes. We're going to be Apple Podcasts rather. And we're also going to be on Google Play Music. It's getting set up as we speak. And we're going to have a full array there for you. And that's like 3 separate options. So you'll be able to listen to us on whatever place you would like to listen to us on. Those are like the major ones. We're like everywhere, really.
Yep. Zoomcat's putting our feelers out there. The more platforms we find, the more we'll get on. But hey, that's where we are. That's where you can find us. And we love you. And thanks for listening to our podcast.
Thank you so much. And again, I don't think we ever have outros for this thing at all.
We don't. The outro can always be different, you know? And I want to say for this one, the main crux of this one is, take time for yourself. Hear the things people say. And don't be a simp.
Stop simping.
Stop simping.
Unless it's Rhea Ripley. Then do simp all the way. Do it.
See, the fucked up part is I don't want to follow you, but God, is that a thick woman.
Oh, man. Woo. But I'm a believer in Jesus, so I got to stop.